Bom dia, gente. Bom dia, bom dia, bom dia. Espero que você tenha ótimo dia agora. I hope you guys are having a good day thus far right now. And good morning to everybody. Listen, I don't know why I always preface my videos with the fact that I don't record often, like on a weekly basis. But a lot of times I'll have things that I want to say, but then I'll talk myself out of it. Well, this is one of these situations where I refuse to talk myself out of it because I think it's something relevant based on, I wouldn't call it a current event, but just how society is concerning dating, coupling up, and or marriage. Recently, I saw a video of a older woman, and this particular woman, everybody knows who she is. She went on a show and she talked about the type of men that she wanted and how her standards are so high. And, you know, there are certain variables by which she will accept a man if they honor these particular things, you know, taking shopping, this, that, and other. Yeah, of course, everybody wants to talk about Vivica. But then when you look at her appearance side by side based on the Vivica then and the Vivica now, you realize that unless this guy is blind mellow jelly who didn't get his daddy's records and wants Vivica, she's probably not going to get the very things that she desired. Now, it's not impossible, and I'm by no means saying that the woman is unattractive. I am not saying that. If you heard me say that, you heard wrong. I'm not saying that. I am saying that sometimes when you, and I think Kevin Samuel said that, he said that, you know, women are selling things that, you know, I think he always put it in a market analogy about what product gains value with time and use. And I think women, unfortunately, don't realize that especially applies to them, particularly those who don't take care of themselves. And I'm not saying that she doesn't take care of herself. I'm just saying if you look at her, she visibly looks different. She looks a little heavier. I'm sure she's probably, you know, her obstinate level is increased. She's probably a little bit more stubborn. She might be a nice person, who knows? But I remember the stuff that she did when Kevin passed away. I digress. Anyway, when I heard that, I said, well, one way to look at it is at face value. What do I mean? Well, at face value, she's, you know, given all of these impossible variables by which she'll accept the man that he has to possess. And a lot of people are applauding that. Oh, look at her, you know, she still has her standards, and, you know, she doesn't take any, you know, crap from anyone. And in order for somebody to get her, they're going to have to meet these demands and requirements. Way to go, girl. But I see it a different way. Here's how I see it. You ever wanted something that you knew, that you couldn't get or wasn't going to be able to achieve for whatever reason? So you made a list of demands so high to the point where you knew you weren't going to achieve it. So if it didn't happen, you'd be like, well, I just kind of set the bar too high. But in your heart, you knew that you weren't going to be able to do it. But to everybody else, you made it seem like, oh man, you know, he raised the bar. So there's a possibility he gonna get it, but I don't know if he can do that. I think that's kind of what I'm seeing. And what I mean by that is, I believe that, you know, we always talk about the lack of accountability with women. I think that lack of accountability is something that we see when it pertains to us, or when it pertains to the general public, or when it pertains to an issue that everybody can see. But I do believe that behind closed doors, women can be accountable to themselves. Now, they'll never let us know, oftentimes, but they can be accountable to themselves. And I think that her self-accountability probably realizes that where she is in life, she might never get the very thing that she desires. Her standards are still the same. They may have even increased, I don't know, but I think that she's doing this to put everybody, to completely put herself out of the ballpark, so that way, if things go the way that people pretty much, most men realize that they will, she can say, well, I just never got with anybody because, you know, nobody could ever meet my standards. When in actuality, I knew that people weren't checking for me like that, so I just raised my standards a few notch, even more so when the product of who I am has gained, that has lost value with time and use, just so that I can say nobody could meet my demands. But in my heart, I knew nobody was even going to be checking for me like that, or the person that would be checking for me would be somebody who I really wouldn't want anyway. I heard somebody say that women are only the prize to the men who want them. And I think that that's what she's experiencing right now. A lot of guys aren't checking for her. So, you know, she's only the prize to the person in the mirror. And that's okay. It's always good to have a healthy self-esteem. But when you have a inflated estimation of self, then that's where being unreasonable kind of gets in the way. I know older women in Latin America, let's just say people in my family, who are, you would think, oh my goodness, you know, like they're gorgeous and like they're single. If you brought them over here, they wouldn't be single for long. I have a sister-in-law, and I think she's seeing somebody right now, but I don't know how serious it is. I think it just happened. If I brought my sister-in-law over here to live with me, and I tell her this all the time, for any considerable amount of time, she probably wouldn't be single within the span of 6 months or a year. Probably more like 4 months, and that's just being generous. Because she's beautiful, she's feminine, she's kind. It's funny because I always tell her she's a little bit scary, but when I say scary, I mean like kind of fearful, but not in a bad way. My point is this: age is important because I think women age differently from men, especially when they don't necessarily possess, how do you say it? When they don't possess things by which we can grade them on a curve or overcompensate for, let's just say, I don't want to say an appearance decline, I'll just say for the product, for the time and the use that you see on the product. When they're not kind, when they're not friendly, when they're not feminine, when they're not agreeable, then it makes it a lot more difficult to deal with them, let alone want to be with them. Because now they're ornery, they're cantankerous, and then they don't look good. I mean, I won't say look good. They're not as appealing as they once were. I'll speak euphemistically. But I don't know. I feel bad for the person, and I know people are going to say in the comment section, why? Don't feel bad for her. I kind of always empathize with people who, when they're told one thing, they never embrace the fact that reality might just deliver the very thing that they've been told from one stage of life to the next. And I think that that's what everybody's seeing, and that's what she's experiencing. So we'll see how it goes. In any event, I just kind of wanted to ramble a little bit, and I'm gonna post this while I'm driving. Well, not while I'm driving, I'm sorry, after I'm driving, after I'm parked. So I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will talk to you guys later. Fala conversei mais tarde. This is your man Larry, the American Brazilian, saying até a breve e verdade.